Alright, I'm going to try one more time to tame an ocelot. Apparently I need to give it room to maneuver and then sneak up on it with fish in my hand, and maybe that will work. So I'm going to place it, get fish in my hand, and sneak up on it. And while I am sneaking with fish in my hand, it may eventually notice my fish and come to me in a susceptible mood for being fed. So it sees me, it's coming towards me. Hey, we got a cat. Nice. All right. Now we are in business. Now, I don't want to, trying to think what I want to do. I need to put it someplace where I can actually, one, it'll be safe and not wander off and get itself killed or something. And two, I can remember to check it every once in a while for balls of fur. Actually, I can get a vacuum chest and put it near. I need a cat enclosure. Something that I can keep an eye on it and keep it safe. So let's go ahead and use glass. I've got a bunch of this stuff that I've gotten as rewards. And let's make a little where do I want to put it? Let me go ahead and put it right here. Just make a little place for it. Go grab this vacuum chest. Place it above there in case any balls of fur spawn. And then once we get our ball of our once we get our thing, we will then go ahead and let it have roam around the base. Let's see, and go ahead and put one more glass down. And throw down vacuum chest. Then I'm going to go collect the cat. And put it in there. It is still tamed, it is sitting, everything is good. Alright, we're in business. Got a few things in here from when I broke my kitchen. Get that cleaned up. Alright, I was starting to worry about that because I sure hadn't seen any stray cats. Um, so that was starting to make me feel like I was possibly missing something, or something strange was going on. Alright, so we have a cat, and hopefully we should get a ball of fur in the vacuum chest at some point. This area is all chunk loaded, so we should be good to go. And the other thing I was going to try, but now I don't have to, was I wasn't sure. Some people had said to use raw salmon, and I did notice that with an alchemy catalyst, you could turn fish into salmon. So I was also thinking I could try that to see if salmon worked on an ocelot. But we are in business. We have a cat. We got to name the cat. That's what we got to do. Can't have a pet without naming it. So our dogs are Zoe and Wash, Firefly characters, because that's the kind of geek I am. What does this cat look like? That cat looks like an Inara. So we're going to name... Let's see, how do I do this again? I think I put this here. Yes. Done. Alrighty. Sorry to pin you up like that, but I need you to stay alive and stay near the chest until you cough up a hairball. Then you can have the roam of the base. Alright, so that is one thing crossed off the old list for the ball of fur for finishing up actually additions. So hopefully we can get that done soon. And now I'm going to go back to working on other, just busting out stuff, making machines and things. And I will be back in a bit. Alright, so I've been running around and working on stuff and putting together a UU Matter setup, and we definitely are getting plenty of balls of fur. So that's all cool. If we take a look at it, you can sort of right click it and it gives you stuff like fish and leather and wood and gravel and just, random small stuff. For now, I'm just going to throw this in here, but that has allowed us to close up. Oh, did it give me a ruby? Ruby's actually pretty cool. But that has allowed us to close up the actually additions chapter. So, ball of fur handled, done. So the other thing I've been working on while that cat's been coughing up hairballs is I've been working on setting up some UU Matter stuff. So I recorded about an hour of me sort of fiddling and farting around with wiring and humming and hawing and learning, and I just deleted it because it was a bit insane and rambly, and you guys just want to see the finished product. Anywho, I'll try and walk you through some of the things that were causing problems. So first thing I did was move my drawers. I had those sort of scattered around here just haphazardly for collecting cobblestone from this sort of thing. This was going to be a very temporary thing to give us a deep dark portal, but it's just sort of become a permanent fixture now because I don't want to move it. So it's basically dumping tons of compact. Well, let me walk you through here. So it's got these are extra utilities to transfer nodes sitting on cobblestone blocks with mining upgrades and speed upgrades And basically what that does is it mines the cobblestone it's sitting on and instantaneously replaces it when the water and lava touch. So you can see we've got this and this and this and this. We've got it in multiple directions here, just to make sure we have a nice compact thing here. And then we've got transfer pipes, again, extra utilities going into this. I took the controller out of here because it was unnecessary. And I'm just going straight into a compacting drawer that is locked on cobblestone, compressed and double compressed. And then that can go into a compacting drawer that is double, triple, and quadruple, and that can go into one that's quadruple, quintuple, and sextuple. And we've just been letting this sort of run since we made our deep dark portal, and we're up to 19 sextuple, which is something like about 8 or 9 million worth of cobblestone. I think one of the sextuple guys is 531,000 blocks worth. So yeah, that's a lot. And actually, I think we are keeping up with the recyclers currently, so that's also cool. So I can put these away. So what we've got going on here is to get extraction of cobblestone into the recyclers. So I've got a bank of 8 recyclers back here, each tied to one matter fabricator. One of the problems I ran into is when I hooked them up, they of course started to try and pull compressed stuff out. So I've got them whitelisted to just take cobblestone. And as you can see, they're taking cobblestone and making scrap. I've got 4 overclocker upgrades in them each. I tried putting a lot more, but I wasn't convinced it was doing much. So I think the overclockers can only make it the fastest they can make it, no matter what this graphic is doing, from what I understand, is 1 operation per tick. And so that's like 20 operations per second. And so I could maybe fit, a few more overclocker upgrades in here, and I might try that, because we certainly aren't making scrap fast enough to keep the matter fabricator stocked. And the other thing I worried about the other thing I could have been worried about was what that would do to my power consumption. But these things take hardly any power, 224 forge energy per tick for these 8 machines. And that's why I have 2 flux points here, is that I was trying to keep track of what power was doing what for what machines. So I'm using 512,000 per tick on the matter fabricators for making UU matter. So that's not insignificant. But these are pretty insignificant in how much they're doing. So yeah, to get cobblestone everywhere, I had to put 15 extract speed here on my cobblestone drawer. I didn't have to, of course, put it on that because I'm not really extracting those at any kind of speed. But at 15 extract speed, it will extract 64 items per operation, so an entire stack. I bring it in here. I also had to tee it off, because if I took it into one corner, then the opposite corner had a tendency to choke, although it might not now that I've got those speed upgrades in there. So that's the cobblestone situation. I think I'm still going up in cobblestone. It's hard to tell because these are sort of pulsing. But I think I'm still slowly going up in cobblestone. And so that's cool. And if I'm not going down fast, and I have millions and millions of cobblestone, so I'm not particularly worried about it. So as for powering these things, my induction furnace, or my induction matrix where I store my Giga RF, I sort of like to keep everything in the Forge Energy FE because that's what it's doing. So I'm using my flux points to pull in power from my flux network hooked up to my induction matrix. And then to get it to talk to IC2 machines, I'm using Mechanism's Ultimate Universal Cable because it sort of does its own conversion and talks to IC2 machines fine. So it doesn't seem to be having a problem with anything. So as for the scrap getting to, come up here so you can sort of see, as for the scrap getting to the matter fabricators, originally I had it wired all down the middle, but the problem I was having was again sort of pooling. I wanted to make sure that I was getting equal scrap to equal matter fabricators. So what I did was I just alternate going down the middle. So here you can see I've got an item conduit pointing into this fabricator from here. So items come out there and they go in there, and fluids come out here. But then just to keep this item conduit from talking to these item conduits, I just alternated going through the top layer. So now these are isolated item conduits. And then you can see the same thing down here. I got this one going down the middle, and this one going through the bottom, and this one through the middle, and this one through the bottom, just to make sure that I've got one replicator feeding items to one matter fabricator. And then I've got all the fluids coming out into a portable tank, resonant tank, that will hold 2,400 buckets, and it's currently at 25 buckets. And it's moving. It's I don't know. It's coming out at a decent rate. I wasn't even sure what I was supposed to do with this, so that was one thing I was just looking at. So apparently it's going to go into a replicator, so I got to figure that out and set it up. But if we look at what the replicator can do, in theory, is these blocks can be scanned and replicated. So apparently I get the scanner out and I scan it, and then I feed it into the replicator, and I can replicate these things. And I was hoping to see things on this list like, Awakened Draconium this, and Wyvern that, and Draconic that, and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not seeing that kind of stuff, but there's still some pretty useful things here. Iridium ore I've got plenty of now, although earlier in the game that might have been handy. Most of this I've got already auto-crafting, and it's not a big deal. But some of these are a pain to make, like the thermal expansion machine frame. That one requires a bunch of other machine components, and it goes through the forestry stuff, which is difficult and annoying to automate unless you make the advanced carpenter multi-block system, which I haven't done yet. So the thermal expansion machine frames, I would definitely duplicate those. That's a good use of UU matter, I think. The other ones, the RF Tools machine frames, those are nice. They use pink slime, which is, if I recall correctly, let's take a look at that. Machine frame. This guy. Yeah, so they use pink slime, and these, I've got the heat vents totally auto-craftable, so those aren't a problem anymore, but before they were a pain in the ass because you had to go through all those steps. Now, I'm not too worried about it. But, if I'd done this earlier in the game, those RF Tools machine frames would definitely be something I would have duplicated. The ultimate control circuit, that is definitely one because it has to go through the empowerer, and it takes a lot of stepping. You got to go through all of the metallurgic infuser steps to get your stuff there. So that one might be a good one. Hardened casing, which one is that? Oh, these guys are also sort of a pain because, again, unless you make the advanced carpenter for modular machinery, you got to feed it through here and carpenter, and it can just be a pain in the butt because, sometimes you're using seed oil in here, sometimes you're using water, sometimes you're using IC2 coolant. So I could see maybe doing those. And what else? Fusion crafting core and chaos shards. I'm not sure. Chaos shards sounds like something you definitely want to do. Seems like this would be something you would want to replicate. I don't know where these come from or what they are or anything, but yeah, those are probably a good thing. Maybe they come from a Chaos Guardian. I don't know. So I probably won't, because of that, I probably won't, try and use this up on trivial things, because that might be important. And Fusion Crafting Core, not sure what that is either. That's this thing. That seems like something that you would want to potentially duplicate. I'm not sure if this is some sort of crafting table or if it's consumed or what. It looks more like a crafting table kind of situation, like the Empowerer or the extended crafting than a component. But yeah, we'll keep our eyes open on that. So yeah, we're making UU matter, and that's probably like, a week later than we should have been doing it, but what the heck. So that's where we're at. We have balls of fur, which was sort of a low-tech problem, but actually had me sort of worried. And then we have UU matter being generated, and we're up to almost 26 buckets, and that's good. So I can just let this run, and we should have plenty of UU matter for just casual use. If we need to do a lot of stuff, then we might want to expand that even more. We're still well within our power budget, so I could easily put maybe another 4 replicators and 4 UU matter fabricators up there, and it wouldn't be a big deal. They're not that hard to make for me at this stage in the game, so yeah. So now what? I guess I'm just gonna go turn the camera off, and in my spare time I'm going to work on just closing out more stuff. I can sort of smell the end of this mod pack extravaganza. And so now I'm at least the tech side of it. I should really qualify that with saying the tech side of it. This, we're going to cross that off real quick here soon as we get more plutonium. Extra utilities, we've only got 2 things left, and that's going to require some draconic stuff. Industrial foregoing, I can make most of this stuff, so I'm going to work on that off camera. RF tools, I can make some of this, so I might work on some of this off camera. I think some of the dimensional stuff I can't quite do yet. Nuclear craft, I can make most of this. I'll make most of this off camera. Thermal expansion, I can make most of this, so I'll get rid of that. I might be able to finish off Envirotech here soon. I think I have all the stuff, I just got to make it. Unless there was something weird here. Oh, that's right, I think I need to get into... I think this is just a pain in the ass. Let's see, what was the next one like? So we need to get up to solar array tier 6. Oh yeah, so we won't be able to close it out because I wonder if it's that bad on the other things too. So tier 6. Haven't even really looked at tier 6 for this. Oh, that ain't bad. I can do that. And for the resource miner, yeah, I can do that. So it looks like only the solar array is going to be the thing that keeps us. This will be the thing that makes it difficult to close the uh, environmental tech chapter. Um, yeah, because we need multiple ultimate ingots and awakened draconium block and a reactor stabilizer. I don't even know what most of this crap is yet, so that's going to hold that chapter up. But let's see. Ender.io, I should be able to make most of the Ender.io stuff now. And then I think once I've gone as far as I can without getting all draconic and Avaricia and all of that, all of this craziness, um, then we'll switch back over to the magic tracks and work on Botania, Thamcraft, um, Astral Sorcery, and then as we start getting those unfolded, we can work on Blood Magic um, and see where that takes us. And then once we sort of hit a stopping point on there or need a break, we can circle back around, start working on advanced rocketry. So that's sort of the plan over the next several episodes to do that kind of stuff. And I'm sort of babbling, so I'll shut up now and call it an episode. Balls of Fur and UU Matter. Quite a deal. Epic events. Strange things are afoot at the Circle K. And with that, I will say good night.